Hey, how's everybody doing? We're up to Parashat Neso. We kind of missed the Bamidbar, which was the beginning of the fourth book of the 5 books of Moses, the book of Numbers, and that was Bamidbar was last week, which was right before Shavuot. So I just didn't have I had too much to say about Shavuot. So let's just move on to the next parsha. Neso is an interesting parsha. It has all kinds of like anecdotal halachic possibilities of like a Nazir, a Nazirite, and there's a Sota story. But anyway, that's for another time. But it also has, which is interesting because I remember Birkat Kohanim coming up another time, not too long ago. I can't imagine it was last year in this parsha. Anyway, it must be somewhere else in the Torah as well. The priestly blessing, Birkat Kohanim. And it's an interesting thing. It's an actual mitzvah. So we have a bracha that every week in Eretz Yisrael on Shabbat, maybe, I don't know if outside of Israel they do the same thing, maybe only on the holidays outside of Israel, all the priests come up to the front of the synagogue and put their hands out and give a priestly blessing to the Jewish people. And it goes like this. And it's actually, they say a bracha because Hashem says in the Torah, speak to the priests, the Kohanim, and tell them that this is how they should bless the Jewish people. Emor lahem yivarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha. Hashem should bless you and protect you. Ya'er Hashem panav elecha v'yisa v'chuneka. Sorry. Hashem should light up his face or like brighten his face to you and give you chen, give you like, you should be liked in his eyes, like you should be, good in his eyes. Yisa Hashem panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Hashem should have his countenance, show his countenance to you, and place peace upon you. And the bracha, there's a bracha that we actually say because it's one of the 613 mitzvot, and it applies only to the priests, that the Kohanim say, Asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav, Asher Kiddishanu b'kedushato shel Aharon, that Hashem sanctified us with the sanctity of Aharon, specifically the priest, the high priest, v'tzivanu levarech et amo Yisrael be'ahava, and commanded us to bless the Jewish people with love. So it says Netivot Shalom. It's a funny like wording of this bracha. Like usually it says Asher Kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu. Hashem has sanctified us with his mitzvot and commanded us to do A, B, and C. And here it says that Hashem specifically sanctified us priests, us Kohanim, with the sanctity of Aharon specifically, and asked us or commanded us to bless the Jewish people be'ahava. And so Netivot Shalom is asking a lot of questions about this. He says, first of all, what's the deal like? What is this blessing? Is it just that the Kohanim are going to be blessing us with this any way that Hashem would give us certain things that we're deserving anyway, and the priests are just kind of like the conduit for that blessing? Or are they somehow like bringing down some kind of abundance and blessing that was not meant to go to the Jewish people? How does it work with the blessing? You know, you go to a sage. Sometimes people want to come to Israel and they want to go to a big scholar, a big tzaddik, a righteous person, and ask for a bracha. I even saw like Yemima Mizrahi, who was like a wonderful lady, but I don't know exactly if she's like, yeah, I mean, she's a Torah scholar, she's wonderful. And like they actually ask her to give them a blessing. So what does that mean when you have like there's a certain level of ability to bring more blessing into the world or somehow bring more abundance to you that you're not necessarily deserving or that wouldn't normally come to you? So says Netivot Shalom that Hashem created the world with a certain level of like a natural order, a natural way of working things, like a natural law. You know, like gravity, there's the laws of nature. And one of those natural laws, which we wouldn't necessarily automatically think about, is the law that people get abundance and blessing through mashpia and mekabel. There's duality in the world. There's the one that influences or gives, and there's the one that receives. And he says specifically, let's say if you talk about a man and a woman, there's that the connection between them, which is born through love, and this is where the love comes in, you can produce a baby, right? And you've got the giver, so to speak, with the man, and the receiver with the woman, and you can create a baby that way. And it happens through love. So there is this natural order of things that you have a giver and a receiver. And Hashem is the ultimate giver, and we are the ultimate receivers, in that we have to receive abundance and blessing, and it happens through love. And that's where we see results. That's where we see blessing. There's like fruits of our labor as a result of this giving and receiving and love. So too with the priestly blessing. He says that it's like a matana, it's a gift that Hashem gave us, that we should be able to draw down Hashem's abundance, which of course Hashem is going to give it to us anyway, or Hashem wants to give it to us, but he creates this conduit, this way of doing it, where it has to be through the priests who love the Jewish people, be'ahava. This is a strange wording. Like normally you would have told us to bless the Jewish people. Great, let's bless them. But it's almost like part of the ability to bless the Jewish people comes through loving the Jewish people. And that's why there's also a halacha that a priest who is not likable, and he himself doesn't like people so much, like he's a little antisocial, I guess, or he just doesnn't like people. You know how there are some people who just like are not very likable and they don't love people. Like they'll just like, I'm not into people. No, he should not give that blessing. You need the love in order to activate the blessing, in order to somehow for Hashem to give the blessing. And what is this blessing? It's like you see that it's about spiritual things. Hashem should guard you, should protect you, should brighten his countenance with you, give you what it is, and give you peace among the Jewish people, peace in your own self. Each and every person is sometimes we're so conflicted, and especially now with the Jewish people, so many conflicts and so much disunity. And this blessing can really be so amazing if it's done in love, with love, and it activates this spiritual abundance from Hashem to the Jewish people. And so we have to be among us, there has to be love among us in order for Hashem to bring down that blessing. And the priests or the leaders have to really love their constituents, love their congregants, love their communities in order to give over that blessing from Hashem to the Jewish people. And it says it's really quite amazing. A person can't really achieve anything spiritually unless it's given to him from somebody who is the influencer, who is the giver in a spiritual realm, meaning it has to be through a guide, through a leader, through a priest, okay? It's amazing, actually. Beyond the natural blessing that a person is going to get anyway, because people basically get their sustenance, they get their survival needs, they get what they need, they get food, people get what they need, right, from Hashem just directly, like they ask Hashem and Hashem gives them, or even if they don't ask Hashem. But this specific above nature help and sustenance is given to us only with that ability to love. We are asking Hashem that as a result of the leaders loving us and us loving each other, we can bring down a tremendous amount of beyond nature, beyond natural, beyond deserving blessing and abundance in the world. It's really unbelievable, and we have to remember that. We have to remember that, and we have to appreciate that all blessing comes from love among the Jewish people. And I just want to give that option, the idea over to you guys. First of all, I want to read to you what he says here about Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. בכלל זה הוא עניין אהבה ושלום בין ישראל. When there is love and peace among the Jewish people, ש"ואהבת לרעך כמוך", זהו כלל גדול בתורה להגיע למדרגות העילאיות בעבודת השם. That's the only way when we do the love thy neighbor as thyself. When we're able to keep that mitzvah in a really serious way, we're able to create, get to the highest levels of spiritual levels that we otherwise would not be able to reach without that loving connection between the Jewish people. She'amu tzadikim, Yisa Hashem panav elecha, that idea in Birkat Kohanim where we say Hashem should brighten his countenance, should just give you tons and tons of smile at you. Basically, Hashem should smile at you and give you peace. That is what can happen. Omnam al pi hateva lo yisa panim. It doesn't naturally happen that Hashem should just give you this supernatural kind of help. But if yesh derech shelemala min hateva al yedei hamidah shel ahava v'shalom b'Yisrael, if we are not deserving that we should have that blessing of peace and extra abundance from Hashem, because we're not deserving it, we didn't really do the right thing, or we're not so great. But if we instead are able to increase love and peace among the Jewish people, she'al yedei zeh me'orerim ahavat Hashem lemala, we will be able to awaken Hashem's love to us. She'yisa Hashem panav elecha lemala min hateva. He will go above nature, beyond his natural tendency, so to speak, to only give us what we deserve. He will give us undeserved love, abundance, smiling countenance, peace, and love, and basically everything that we need in this country. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're hearing it, this is really, really important. And I want to also bring up what we learned today in our davening, in our chavrusa, where we talked about prayer. We talked about the idea of that part of our natural effort that we put in for each other has to be prayer. If you can just pray for somebody, that is part of the immediate natural response that we need to have for our fellow man, fellow woman, fellow community. Okay, so I just wanted to bring up the idea that maybe this is something that we can work on. And I know that it's been very, very difficult, especially here in Israel, especially now, where our political leaders are honestly really not increasing love and peace among the Jewish people. And I just think we really have to ignore them, because it's not the way we really are. We as a Jewish nation are loving and are looking to encourage peace, to encourage connection, to encourage unity among the Jewish people, and our political leaders are not doing that. So I think we really need to avoid them, or what we could do is pray to Hashem that Hashem should give them understanding and common sense and human decency. How about that? We really have to pray for them, because it's part of our hishtadlut. We might say to ourselves, what is up? Why are these political, I'm talking about the political members of Knesset who are talking about dismantling the government because the government is not giving them a law to enable all the yeshiva guys to get as much benefits from the government as their brothers who are going to war. Now, guess what? If you don't go to war, you don't really deserve those benefits. And guess what? It's time to go to war. Or it's time to have all the yeshiva students understand that they do need to take responsibility for the entire community of the Jewish people. And so they need to start figuring out how to do that. And I think they are. They are. Okay, here's the thing. They are. It's a bunch of fake news. It's not true that the very religious community or the very yeshiva community who are sitting and studying and learning it's not true that they don't want to take responsibility for the Jewish people and they don't want to start figuring out how to make it work, that they can go to the army. We need to understand that that is not the nation of the Jewish people. The nation of the Jewish people wants love, wants unity. And I think that one way that we can do that to increase love somehow among us is, first of all, we have to realize that we do have to love each other, and we have to stop thinking about those members of Knesset, not worry about them, realize that they are not reflecting the reality of the Jewish people, and we have to be a little patient with the rest of the Jewish community. We have to understand that there are conflicts that are going to take maybe some years to work out, philosophical conflicts and contradictions and differences of opinion, but that bottom line, underneath it all, we do love each other and we do have this unity among ourselves, and we need to pray to Hashem, V'yasem lecha shalom. This is a really good word to use and a really good phrase to use. Yisa Hashem panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Hashem should smile at you and raise his face to you, like raise his countenance with you, and give you peace among the people. And we have to pray also for the leaders, for the members of Knesset, that they should have seichel, they should have a brain, a little bit of a brain. Sorry, I don't mean to be mean, but like, this is getting ridiculous. And I think we need to pray. I think that's the only thing we can do, but it's an amazing thing that we can do because Hashem is in charge. Whoo! So I think we have to really take on this responsibility. We need to increase peace among the Jewish people by just, first of all, realizing that the entire Jewish people is actually loving and connected to each other, and we have to pray to Hashem that he should give the leaders and the members of Knesset who are looking to do some really dangerous, stupid things, they should give them some seichel, some common sense, some understanding. And if you do pray in the morning, you could say it in the blessing about Honein la'adam da'at. It says when Hashem, we're asking Hashem to bring deya, knowledge, understanding, haskel, seichel, to us, so we can specifically stop at the bottom before the end of that bracha and we say, please bring the members of the Knesset who are so stuck in their, bubble of not understanding things and just wanting to keep their, I don't know what they want to keep. I think that they're really losing their minds. Please help them to keep their minds and to keep their understanding and to understand what the Jewish people need at this time, and to, bring you, Hashem, please bring understanding to them and peace to the Jewish people. We really have to do it, okay? It's part of our hishtadlut. It's part of our effort, our war effort, because then Hashem will bring us abundance and peace and love and return of all our hostages. I just heard that they brought back 2 bodies. Thank God. We knew that they were dead already, unfortunately. It was Gadi and Judy Chagai, I think. That was their last name. A couple from near Oz. And they are, we knew that they were dead, and they found their bodies, Baruch Hashem, out of a lot of intelligence and a lot of figuring out and serious military strategy. They found these 2 people and they brought them back. So now we have 56 hostages left in Gaza. Hopefully 24 are alive. We need to get them back. So this is your effort that you can put in. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great Shabbos.